Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dani Ellison, recovery coach for adult children of narcissists. I help them live their best lives and recover after going no contact with abusive parents. If that resonates with you, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new content. Today, I'm responding to Breeny Lee's video, Signs Your Mother is Toxic and What to Do. I want to shed light specifically on how you can know that your mother is not just toxic, but narcissistic, and give you 4 reasons why going no contact is the best thing you can do for yourself. Sign number 1. If your mother is narcissistic, she will verbally attack you. Okay, if you know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of a rapid fire verbal attack from your mother, where she's using her words purely to shred your dignity, to break your confidence, to break your spirit, chances are mom is a narcissist. A healthy, loving mother does not position herself to destroy her child. There's no desire in her to break down her daughter's identity, whereas the narcissistic mother will reach for anything. Okay, your flaws, your appearance, your failures, anything she suspects that you might be insecure about, she will reach for it in the moment that she needs to break you down and hurl it at you to gain control in the moment. Okay? If this has happened to you, you know that when she attacks you, you lose focus. If you're having an argument, when she attacks you, you completely fall apart, and now she doesn't have to worry about being held accountable. Tactic 2. If your mother is narcissistic, she will humiliate you on purpose. So the verbal attack is humiliating, but it usually happens when you two are alone. Whereas humiliating you is something that she will intentionally set out to do in front of other people. Probably your mutual family members, maybe your friends or your partner, maybe like your coworkers, people who she knows their opinion of you is important to you. She will use those opportunities when she's around to bring up something embarrassing or to ask you a question that requires you to share something embarrassing. She may highlight something that you're doing, like the way you're walking, the way you're eating, the way you said something. She'll zero in on it in front of everyone else, and she'll attack you for the purpose of getting them to laugh at you, to mock you. She'll do it when she knows the chances are low that somebody will step in and say, hey, that's really inappropriate, or hey, that's my friend, don't talk to her like that. She'll use the leverage of other people being around to amp up her attack and give her more momentum. Keep in mind that her end goal is to break you down so that she has more control the next time she goes to manipulate you. Tactic 3, if your mother is narcissistic, is she will gaslight and blame shift to avoid accountability. Okay, if your mother's narcissistic, there is no ground for holding her accountable for the way that she treats you. Time and time again, you have gone into a conversation with her, clear-headed, level-headed, and you want to address a specific comment that she made that is clearly, blatantly abusive. Something that she did that just is wildly inappropriate, and you have a typical approach to this conversation, the same approach you would use with another person, and the conversation goes completely left. At no point does your mother respond and say, I'm sorry. Oh, you're right about that. That was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have done that. She will not take accountability for intentionally hurting you. If your mother's narcissistic, there is no reciprocity in this relationship. It's a one-sided relationship because your feelings do not matter to her. Now, there may be some times when she plays a role, okay, probably after she has just completely effaced you, and she'll come to you maybe crying, maybe apologizing, maybe this is what we call love bombing. She's just drowning you in her sympathy. She's drowning you in her feelings to elicit empathy from you and get you to clear the slate and move forward from a fresh start. when you try to hold her accountable, she will gaslight you, meaning she will undermine your perception of reality by telling you, I didn't say that, that didn't happen, and she'll insert something else that she said or something else that happened. And if your mother is narcissistic and she gaslights you, you will find yourself questioning your reality. Like, wait a minute, did I remember that wrong? I thought I heard her say this, but maybe she did say something else. You will try to figure out what you have done to trigger her response to you. Okay, you will begin to self-correct your behavior according to her gaslighting to try to avoid this happening again, only to find that there's nothing you can ever do to be treated with respect and to avoid being abused by this person. Sign number 4 that your mother is narcissistic is that she doesn't truly know you. Okay, if your mom's narcissistic, she doesn't have the skill set or the desire to come to know you as a person. Once you begin to age out of being a little kid who's easily controlled, once you develop your own personality, likes, dislikes, once you start to have independent, complex thoughts, and you start to make decisions that do not directly reflect her choices, she will show zero interest in getting to know you as a person. You may feel like you're waiting and waiting, like you might feel like Rapunzel waiting for the prince to come and save her, waiting for your mom to wake up and say, hey, let me get to know my daughter. Let me get to know my child who's 18 or 21 or 25 now. Let me find out what their political views are. Let me see what they think about this. Let me ask them about their faith. Let me feel them out as a person. She has no desire to know you. In her mind, you are an extension of her. And any choices, any reflection of independence that you have, she'll probably attack, because in her world, you're not a person. Okay, she's not interested in learning you as a person, because being in a mutually respectful relationship with you is not on her radar. You are only valuable to her in as much as she can control you, as she can exploit you for money or notoriety. If she cannot extract a benefit, whether it's physical or emotional, she's not interested in who you are as a person. So you might know what it feels like to sit on the phone for hours and just hear her go on and on and on and never pause and take a break. You could put the phone down and she's not going to notice, because she's not really talking to you. She's having you listen to her. If you get it, you get it. So now that we've reviewed the 4 signs that your mother's narcissistic, allow me to share with you 4 reasons why going no contact is the best thing that you can do for yourself in this situation. Okay, and before I share my reasons, I just want to say going no contact is probably the scariest, most life-changing decision that you'll ever make. Okay, on the front end, it does not feel good. It's not a desirable option. Okay, you go no contact because you reach your breaking point. Because something happens that triggers that same old cycle of rage or depression, and you decide to stop being abused. Okay, so there are many people who take issue with going no contact because it's such a drastic choice to make, and it truly is. But let me tell you why going no contact is the best thing you can do for yourself if your mother is narcissistic. Okay, reason number 1, going low contact with your mother, meaning you withdraw from the relationship as much as possible but still stay in contact, is not a long-term solution. Because while you are separated from her and you are establishing some stability, your emotions are leveling out because you're not talking to her, you're not having a big blow up, you're not being attacked or triggered, the moment that you come into contact with her, the second that she gets some access to you, she is going to trigger you, whether it's on purpose or not. You're going to continue to fluctuate emotionally because you'll have these periods of time when you feel as normal as you can. You begin to heal, you start to feel better, you start to develop some kind of confidence and some continuity with yourself, and then here comes mom and you're back to square one. I personally do not advocate for going low contact because it's not a long-term solution. It actually is going to keep you stuck. It's going to keep you cycling the same dysfunctional patterns because the door is always open for mom to come back, walk back into your life and have her way. The second reason why no contact is the best thing you can do for yourself if your mom is narcissistic is that the guilt you feel, that fear and that guilt that you feel that's keeping you in this relationship is actually self-destructive. If you had a friend come to you and say that their partner was verbally attacking them, was humiliating them, was exploiting anything that they confided in that person, that they didn't feel seen or heard or safe or valued, you would have no problem telling them, that doesn't sound like a very healthy relationship. You deserve much better than that, and you should walk away. It sounds like this person doesn't love you. And as your friend, I don't want to see you settle for that for another minute. I know you may have an emotional tie. I know it may feel bad to cut this person off, but you'll get through it and you deserve better. So I encourage you to do what you need to do and walk away from this person. It is no different with your narcissistic mother. In fact, it's worse because this person is not your partner. This is your parent, okay? This is the person who is supposed to be protecting you and raising you up into a well-rounded, healthy, emotionally competent adult who can take care of themselves, and your parent is intentionally attacking you and exploiting your insecurities so that they can keep you weak and vulnerable to them. You deserve better than that. And I know that no contact may seem drastic. It may seem scary and lonely. And the truth is, it is sometimes, at least at first. Going no contact is not fun. It is painful. It's difficult. But you deserve to be free of this person who you know is going to abuse you. Reason number 3 that going no contact is the best option for you if your mother's narcissistic is that you are the only advocate your inner child has, okay? The inner baby that remains within you, the 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, however old you were when you were initially traumatized by your parent, that child relies on you to protect them. That child relies on you to voice their story and to release their pain. So not only do you owe it to your inner child to step in between them and your narcissistic mother and prevent that child from being further abused by this person now that you're an adult, but your inner child needs you to connect with them so that they can share their story. There's some pain, there's some trauma, some experiences that they've had that they've never been able to voice, that they have never been able to share and say, hey, this is actually what happened to me when I was 5, when I was 6, when I was 7. This is what my mother said to me. Because as a child, you didn't have the language to say, hey, somebody, my mom's abusing me emotionally. Hey, somebody, my parent is neglecting me emotionally. You didn't have the capacity to do that. So now that you're an adult, it is your calling, your privilege, your job to protect your inner child. And that inner child is not going to allow you to move on and have a happy, stable adult life until you address their issues. So if you're trying to, build a social life or advancing your career, you want to be healthy and happy and take care of yourself, it probably feels like you keep reaching for these things and you may get some semblance of them, but somehow it all falls apart. Whether it's because you're being rejected, whether it's because you sabotage these situations and you prevent yourself from having the thing that you want to have, that's not an accident. That's happening because your inner child is saying, hey, I'm not going to allow you to just move on and be a functional adult until you come back and address what I've been through, because that inner child is stuck in the place they were when they were initially traumatized. And it's probably the last thing you want to do, to go all the way back to when that awful thing happened, the thing that you probably repressed, that you don't want to think about, but it still haunts your memories anyway. Of course, you don't want to go back to that place, but until you're willing to go back and retrieve that inner child, you are going to struggle to be a competent, healthy, happy adult. And I want to see you get there. So the sooner that you make the choice to go no contact, the sooner you can begin to embrace healing and actually move forward. That brings me to my fourth point, which is it's not possible for you to focus on healing if you have to focus on coping. Okay? As long as you're in the relationship with your abuser, you have to position yourself to brace for more abuse. You have to train yourself to rely on these coping mechanisms, these maladaptive behaviors that don't suit you in your happy adult life, but keep you safe when you have to be in contact with this mother who's going to abuse you in familiar ways. So you may have learned to shut down when somebody corrects you. You may have learned to gray rock and just not say anything, not feel anything while she's ranting and raving at you. You may have learned to hide all of your insecurities, to pretend like nothing's bothering you, to cry in secret, to keep your rage to yourself because you're not allowed to have an emotional response. You've learned to survive being abused. You've learned to survive living with a monster. And as long as you are sending yourself the message that we have to survive again another day, you're not going to be able to send yourself the message that, hey, we escaped, we're free. Okay, the monster's not coming back because we're gone. They have no access to us. We have gone no contact, and now we can begin to heal. As long as you're doing low contact, or as long as you are finding a way to settle for the abuse, you're going to keep yourself stuck and complacent in your coping strategies. So with that said, I just want to encourage you, if you have been thinking maybe recently, maybe for your whole life as far back as you can remember, if you've been considering no contact, if you feel like your life would be so much better, you'd feel free and confident and happy if your mom was not around you, I encourage you to think more deeply about going no contact and what it means for you. It is my passion. I enjoy working with adult children of narcissists who are about to embark on this journey. And I do it because when I went on my journey of no contact with my mother 4 years ago, I didn't have anyone to support me. Every aspect of the journey was new. I didn't know what to expect, and for a good chunk of it, I felt like I was crazy and going in circles. Okay, so I use my experience, I leverage that to help you, to guide you through the process of going no contact and doing it successfully. Okay, so if this resonates with you, like I said, subscribe, please like the video, leave some comments, let me know what else you would like to hear me talk about. If you are interested in getting one-on-one coaching for going no contact, and that's whether you are currently no contact or you are considering it, this is resonating with you and you think it might be for you, you can connect with me and book a session at my website, ellisoninc.com. I'll put all the relevant information in the description for you. Please reach out and just connect, become a part of this community that I'm building of adult children of narcissists who take their power back and are not afraid to live free of their abusive parent. See you next time. I almost forgot to mention, you can join me live on Zoom this November 7th for the Going No Contact Healing Workshop. We are coming together to do the work that's going to set us free from being abused by narcissistic parents. If anything you heard resonates with you, whether no contact is a new concept or something you've been thinking about, I encourage you to join us. Be there. We are breaking the chains of narcissistic abuse for generations to come. The information will be in the description box below. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.